investigate the well, teleport their whole team right back in, and turn a fight completely. It was a really, really, really cool strat, and I think we're going to be seeing more teams kind of take note of that. But a little bit of a pause to start this game off. Just some small things here there, no big deal.
Yeah, just sorting some stuff out as we get in. I am interested to see it because I feel like BetBoom's probably really hungry for this win. I mean, they need at least one win. Yeah, they absolutely need at least one win. Like if they get game one, and you'd still want to find a second win, of course, but you can kind of rest easy knowing that worst scenario comes out, you can tie with Aster, and you can kind of force that play out. So this game one is more do or die for the side of BetBoom. They can recover in game two, but you don't kind of want to leave it up there. And that's why this draft is good. I think this is the kind of draft that you do want to play really fast, or at least not fast, but pretty aggressively. A lot of that hinges on GPK's lane. I feel like we've seen a lot of Storms which, once they fall behind from, say, their Witchblade, Falcon Blade timing, or even just their Kaya timing, it feels pretty bad, especially since you don't have an IO, you don't have a Pugna on hand to top you up. So it's not like, again, you have this play you can do with the Underlord, with a Gate, but it's not active as much as, say, the Pugna or the IO can be in sustaining you.
All right, well, hopefully they get whatever this lag is figured out here in just a moment. But either way, I'm mostly just curious how some of these lane matchups are going to go. We've seen Tiny Storm enough at this point to know that Tiny does do pretty decently in this lane. It should see us perfectly fine, grab some early easy denies as a result of the tree grab. But I'm so worried about this Bloodseeker, man. This hero is, in my opinion, one of the best carries of the patch. So I am very excited to see how he matches up against the Naga Siren, because I don't think I've seen this matchup, but on paper, I feel like it should be pretty good.
I think the Bloodseeker does have a lot of ways of dealing with it. It's a natural Maelstrom, it's a Mjolnir carrier. It can go Radiance if the game goes fast enough, and Naga hates playing into the Radiance herself. Mischance is pretty annoying for the illusions. You've got the eventual build-up for the Blood Mist, which is, again, more AoE if need be. So it should be interesting depending on Nightfall's build. I don't expect anything too out of the ordinary, though.
Zeal's going to go for that rune in the river. They trade a little bit, so just some right-clicks back and forth. Ends up being pretty favorable here. As PSG.LGD will end up with the one rune advantage, but we're going to head to the lanes and kind of get this game underway.
Sneak a peek down mid again. That Storm versus Tiny lane for GPK, nothing to say. Tiny feels pretty good. Storm can always kind of threaten by level 3. Double overload with the Vortex up, but the Tiny does dish a lot of damage back. The first 2 levels, for nothing to say, feel a lot better if you play with your tree gab fairly well, which you expect the Tiny to do so. And he's already done a significant chunk of damage onto GPK. Rune Control's the big one. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually commit your supports in for the 4-minute and 6-minute rune here, as we've seen a lot more that you don't tend to do that as often as you used to in the last patch, but for this mid matchup, it's a lot more important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my favorite things has been the fact that side lanes are just so much more action-packed than they used to be. That's probably the best change of the patch, just because it's like, it felt like mid lane was the only lane you would watch for a long time, right? Unless you had a really aggressive offlane or something, it was kind of just, all right, we're gonna farm. Maybe we'll see maybe a couple of rotations here or there, but the rotations always came from mid lane. And now it's kind of the opposite, right? It's all the aggressions in the side lanes, and then a lot more rotations into mid lane.
Yeah, just with how much wider the map is, with these twin gates up, it allows you to really get aggressive early on. Taking a peek up top with Shiro on that Naga and Y on that Disruptor up against Resolution's Underlord and Save on the Ench. This is a little bit more passive coming out from BetBoom. You can kind of look to play aggressive if you wanted to on the side of LGD. They've done a great job of chipping away at Resolution. A Save, he can always be annoying with taking a Naga illusion back. You don't have a fast way of clearing that out either. So it can be a decent chunk of damage, not particularly amazing. They have blocked the large camp at the least.
I was curious if it was going to get the Riptide, and it looks like it does. So that's a pretty decent steal, yeah.
What I am curious about is who does cross that twin gate early on. I feel like the side of LGD have some good surprises if Planet can kind of sneak around the back. It's always harder for the 4 to use the twin gate, I feel, because you have to walk a pretty long path through the backside to kind of sneak in. There's no vision from either side watching the twin gates. Maybe neither one really expects a movement out.
Yeah, it's almost always, I feel like, the 5 that's rotating, or even the 1 position that's rotating, right? Bottom lane, they're going to get aggressive here with Zeal as they chase down Toronto Tokyo. He will get the Frostbite off here, but he chases him under the tower, and that will be first blood. But Nightfall with the turnaround here, potentially. The Blood Right does connect. He's very quick here thanks to the thirst, but he needs a couple more auto attacks. He's not going to make it. And it will push him back as a big win here for this off lane.
Yeah, nice take for LGD. They managed to snag away the Lotus as well. Nightfall not able to risk it running up that area. And Zeal, early ring of health, just giving him enough of regen to last through, along with the 10 stick charges on hand. And they make a good commitment out. And that is the one shortcoming of the CM. It is still fairly squishy. You are out of blood grenade charges as well, so you don't have that added HP on hand to tank through.
Mid lane, GPK just gets blood grenaded, hit with the Thunderstrike as well. Just super annoying, harassment coming out from this Disruptor right before that 4-minute rune as well. So they will be able to just secure both for the side of PSG.LGD now.
Again, for this mid lane matchup, the 4-minute and 6-minute runes feel a lot bigger than our other matchups, just because Tiny and Storm are so reliant on bottle top-ups. And nothing to say, should have decent control on both. So you can't just go for the full top-up, and the Storm will TP in, but he's going to be missing out on a lot of EXP, already missing out 1 wave. Nothing to say, he has free reign here to, again, clear out and go into that second water room, just off of a good moving out from Y. And this is one thing you can do with the Naga. It is fairly hard to shove away, and Underlord and Enchantress, it can be aggressive, but it's not the scariest lane to go into, as long as you play mildly conservative here.
They're CSing super well on the side of BetBoom right now. That is the one thing they've really got going for them. They are very far ahead. And the Underlord, I think some of these last hits are probably going to be the Naga illusions, but still, he's got 13 denies. Naga's starting sitting at only 17 last hits. So despite, there's first blood on the bottom lane here for Zeal, the Bloodseeker, top of the CS charts, they're doing great. Spin mind space up. They're going to jump on the... Bro, these nice onslaught out there. That was actually the cast time reduction for sure. That actually allowed him to get through there.
He's having a little extra movement right outside of Blood Right, just to save his life. He has been left solo for a little bit there. As Planet, again, he's been focusing in on trying to get something mid up top.
Look at Shiro. Just getting ran down here. Save just needs 1 more impetus, and he's got it. Beautifully done by the Enchantress.
You get that first vision up and keep track of your target, and they finally find a Naga. Again, this lane isn't the scariest, but there is aggressive angles you can take for BetBoom, and that's the bigger target to find. Your kill on LGD was onto the CM. You're slowing down that Naga in a big way. Bottom network core right now doesn't feel great, and we've seen Shiro kind of queue up this Midas for quite some time from the start of the game, so he anticipates a longer game as well, but you kind of still need to accelerate that.
Nice, there it is. So, mid lane, we're also seeing another rotation from Save as he grabs GPK. Now they turn their attention over nothing to say he gets the level 6. Can this Planet Mirana actually turn the time? She almost manages to find the kill, and it's going to be Save with another one. Stick pop there from the Storm Spirit, trying to find the kill on the Planet. The reduced attack speed. He's got a Starstorm in 1. He gets the mana. GPK will fall. Planet salvaging the situation there a little bit, but 2 really nice kills for the Storm in this mid lane.
Yeah. They get a good amount of pressure in. You are a little bit annoyed in dying there for GPK, but it was kind of all in. Didn't quite have enough on his stick to get an extra spell cast as well that would have been necessary to catch Planet out. So you're finding some good punishment out from LGD. BetBoom though, they're still getting away with too much in their lanes. Nightfall, it's a pretty free ride for the Bloodseeker. There's not as much pressure as you can expect here from Zeal. Again, like, Primal Beast tends to enjoy jumping into squishier heroes. Bloodseeker, not quite that hero that you can always commit to. And they're already pressuring top.
Yeah, they just continue to play aggressive. They are going to bring in Zeal, but the damage is done. Dude, this Underlord, just having that extra 60 right-click damage is just so good. They get the tower, and a nice aggressive play here from Probably once again is nothing to say, makes this rotation, and there's going to be the Avalanche, the toss. He finds it, but Rezo trying to find a kill, and it ends up just being saved once again. The level 2 Emphasis, that early Blightstone, they're just dumping in the damage. One more auto attack, the Pit of Malice comes through and saved. Has a double kill. He's got 6. He's been part of all 6 kills at the 7.5 minute mark.
He's been on point with the movement out, and he's pretty damn farmed. I mean, he's just a little bit behind in comparison to Zeal right now on that Ench. Has the Gloves of Haste up, going for his Dragonlance next after these Power Treads up.
It just doesn't stop, man. Rupture out, Nightfall waiting at this rune. They get the arrow on the GPK, but of course, plenty of damage there to find the kill. All right, John, I need you to break it through. How do they slow down this game on the side of LGD?
For LGD, they're gonna have to wait for that blink timer. On Nothing to Say. Like that's the key part of their lineup for the early to mid game. It is that Storm initiation, that tiny initiation tying in with aggression from Realm. They'll try down bot. They don't have level 6 up.
He has the glimpse at least, and Nothing to Say is back, so they do get a kill. That is a nice one. Good rotation and good control. So they at least find something. Yeah, that's a pretty big actually gold bounty. Almost 560 gold for just that one kill.
Stupendous.
And it's important to find. Again, Nothing to Say is just rushing that blink. So his activity there does buy a lot for LGD to try to rush back in. 7-5 BetBoom though. I mean, they're still getting everything they'd want elsewhere. GPK already has that Falcon Blade into the Power Treads. So he's kind of set to go. And Resolution's been left alone. His durability is going to skyrocket, just rushing that pipe next. Again, the magical output, which is what you're relying on the side of LGD early on. With a pipe, it's just gonna tickle. That barrier field is so massive, and Shiro doesn't have free space to farm here.
No.
It's just constantly pressured.
There's no way he completes TP. Yeah, it's definitely a zoning TP, of course, right? Like, if they continue the chase, you do have to complete it. Otherwise, they at least don't finish the chase on a Shiro. So, Resolution having an unbelievably good game on this offlane Underlord. Already level 7, almost level 8, top of the net worth here as he has the Vanguard done, just rushing into that Crimson Guard and the pipe.
Yeah. Don't mind that at all. Again, durability comes out. All he needs to do is kind of frontline for his team, make use of the gate to probably just top up GPK or look for opportunities to come in. And just play aggressive off the back of that. LGD, you kind of need your support levels done. Y is close, but not quite there onto his level 6. And they are rushing Ags as well on Disruptor, understanding that the static storm control is going to be a big part of how they take these fights. It's just, it's slow going for a Disruptor. You don't tend to farm too much, Aldo.
Beats Gate into the bottom lane. They've got the Rupture there onto Zeal as Nightfall. She'll be able to chase this with the help of Toronto Tokyo as well. And they hand that kill on over to Resolution, and he's like, later, I'm taking my gate back across the map. I don't want to fight, but Nothing to Say comes in. Big avalanche of the toss as well, but Nightfall is still here. They've got the freezing field, and now you committed in heavily here on the tiny Marana balls, and just one more auto attack. They get them both. And GPK, you will just TP home instead.
I mean, I get that play for Nothing to Say, but you don't have the damage. There's too many heroes. That was 2 heroes trying to interrupt a 4-man channel back. And they get punished for it. That's the blink reveal from Nothing to Say coming out there as well. So BetBoom's going to be ready for the tiny angles coming in, or at least they'll expect it now. And he can kind of try to handle it.
Yeah, like in this replay,
that's LGD's timing.
Yeah, I like what you said. Like, he interrupted too many heroes. If he had let, like, one more hero go through, it's probably a decent chance they get, like, if they just let GPK or something go through, they might be able to just, like, blow up Toronto Tokyo, maybe find a kill onto, like, save, or just back out. But because the Storm Spirit gets to stay there, you know, maybe against his will, it ends up being pretty good for them.
That just accelerates GPK's timings now. Kaya not too far off. They'll go for another smoke play. You only really have to pop Freezing Field, but it's like a cherry on top. It's not really necessary for these bigger pickoffs, and they find an angle here.
Rezo, unfortunately, gets that denied there on the regen rune. They're trying to find an opening, but I think Storm Spirit a little bit worried about diving in that deep all alone. He does have to worry about the burst from the Tiny still.
Yeah, it's still a lot of output from Nothing to Say if he does get that full combination off. And they were under vision. They knew something was up when they had that glimpse back onto Rezo. Under the smoke, they'll play it safe. For LGD, this is a lot of space coming out for Shiro. He does have the Midas, and he is now #1 in net worth, as you'd expect the Naga Siren to do, despite that slower start. Again, any hero that can kind of use the jungle early just feels really strong. So even if you have an atrocious lane, if you're not stopped for the next 10 to 15 minutes, you do just bounce back in a big way. And the Midas is just helping Shiro accelerate to that point. So while I do like the aggression from BetBoom, at some point they've got to keep pressuring Shiro. If you don't, the Naga will be an issue.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Like, this hero will eventually just become a massive problem. It could potentially be solved depending on the build that we see Nightfall go for. Of course, obviously has the Maelstrom done first, queuing up the BKB as a second item. So it looks like he just wants to play fast, which I think might be the correct play with how good of a start the rest of your team has had. If he's able to join early, they could be able to just shut down PSG.LGD's, you know, momentum, or like any like space that they build, and Shiro may not be allowed to come online this game.
Yeah. And that's the ideal outcome for BetBoom, just trying to shut him down. And the itemization for Bloodseeker's pretty open. With a BKB, you can kind of get aggressive early. Full Mjolnir to kind of deal with a lot more output there as well, down the line. A Moonlight Shadow out from LGD. They still want to play with Nothing to Say here. They don't have forward vision, though.
They will see Toronto Tokyo, and there it is, the Avalanche toss into Arrow. CM surprisingly tanky there, but still ends up dying. This Planet will be the one that secures the kill.
Yeah, and Nothing to Say not wanting to jump too far forward, kind of backsteps before the Frostbite comes out. And not expecting that extra durability with a Belt of Strength, but they find a kill, and the pickoffs are important even on these smaller targets to keep that momentum going your way. They might be able to find more if Nightfall overstays, but he's got vision.
Yeah, Planet just jumps right back up. He's like, I'd rather give the kill to your Bloodseeker than the Storm.
Yeah, it's understandable. BetBoom though with that kill, they're going forward.
No, just glimpse back the Enchantress, but that means GPK does have the ability to go in here if he really wants. A little bit of a ward. Sentry comes down, instantly countered here by Toronto Tokyo.
They don't want to leave an opening on LGD. They can't afford to have Shiro be interrupted from his farm. They do have vision up here too, which is not spotted by the sentry earlier on.
And they're thinking of going. They grab Nothing to Say here for the moment, but he has a nice illusion rune to buy him some space. Jumps on the backside, the Avalanche for toss. He ends up getting outside the Static Storm. Not ideal, and that's going to force Shiro to pump that Song of the Siren. As Resolution took the Fiend's Gate up here, realizes this fight's over. Alright, he will just let it expire. He's not going to head back bottom. That's safe. Has to be a little bit careful here. Avalanche once again connects. Well, does he have to be careful? Do the other heroes? This Enchantress does so much damage. Why? Does get the glimpse, but the Vortex there on his last moments to secure the kill. Very well done.
Only find a support, but again, you'll take what you can get for BetBoom. You're applying that pressure, you're making it uncomfy for Shiro. He has to walk across the map to get some farm going once more, but he's not fully interrupted. You know, he's not dying. The Naga has the full Manta up, feels a little bit better in the middle of these fights. And the stat padding is starting to come true here, so it's a lot harder to clear her out. You have the solutions on hand for BetBoom, but then you kind of want to deal with Naga while it's still easier to do that than later on when it can kind of get complicated. For PSG.LGD, I mean, the impact on their other cores, the impact of Nothing to Say and Zeal is kind of mitigated. It doesn't feel like they've been able to play as aggressive off the back of their Primal Beast and their Tiny as much as they'd want to.
Yeah.
These heroes can scale up decently. Zeal is going for the durability build into the Guardian Greaves now for his team. But again, I was expecting a little bit more coming out with, say, Tiny Mirana. And they did rotate a couple times in lane, weren't the most successful. But when you sit back and farm like this, you definitely just pour everything onto Shiro. So it's kind of like going all in on just your hyper-farmed pause 1 to carry you through, which, mind you, has worked for a couple of teams. It's always just a little bit slower overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Mid lane. Yes, gonna throw the Avalanche toss here onto the creep wave, and it's gonna be the opening for GPK to hit with Vortex, the Freezing Field, and the Enchantress. More than enough. And again, Rezo takes the Feedscape mid. Gonna just here for some emotional support, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You get some AoE bounty coming out. You don't really mind too much. You get some free XP going. And they might be able to collapse here.
They want to.
They are spotted out.
Trying. Resolution will cut this wave. PSG.LGD looking to just get out of dodge. 2 TPs out so far. Planet gonna stay behind at the moment.
Again, for LGD, you're not too far behind, despite these kills coming out from BetBoom. Again, all of that gold's onto Shiro. So you have to ensure this investment is worthwhile on the Naga. Going for the heart next, into the defusal afterwards. So wants the durability first in case of any ganks, which is understandable considering the state of the game for LGD. They're probably not the ones to look to get aggressive here anytime soon. On the side of BetBoom. And they're kind of fine just waiting around a little bit more. I mean, you're going to get this full Mjolnir up on Nightfall. That's when it gets really scary to go into that Bloodseeker with his full BKB charge still ready. He has the Orb of Destruction to soften up. Got everything you could ask for. Hello?
Yep. Quick little usage of the DD rune there. Will find Planet. I mean, he was staying bottom just to cut waves, which is really smart. Like, just trying to get something out of the map right now. Just because any of these other heroes, like if Tiny's down there and gets picked off, it's a lot worse. So, being in the 4, it's fine to make that risky play. Mid lane, why? Gonna take just a ton of damage here from Save. Forced to use the Static Storm as a result, and it's a big cooldown.
90 seconds without it. So you can't rely on that for the next team fight. They do find space to clear out the bot tower, which is some room for LGD to kind of play with, but not a substantial amount. At least it helps keep their Wisdom Rune in their control for a little bit longer. You don't have that instant TP point to trying to sneak around. Good courier snipes, though, coming out from Resolution. 2 chonky couriers just getting chopped down by the Underlord.
Looking for GPK here. There's going to be the Avalanche, the toss, the onslaught. In comes Planet as well, but can they save him? He gets out.
Oh,
These
no.
2 take you 3 hero bit him out into the freezing field. It's going to be Tiny and the Primal Beast that go down. Resolution with a beautiful pipe usage, and Nightfall even manages to snipe Planet on the backside. It's just a huge win all around. That was like the one chance you were going to get this storm. Like, just the Underlord, man, the global presence you have from that Fiend's Gate.
Yeah, it's massive. And again, it's down to this build-up. Resolution going for the durability for his team. The pipe just providing so much up against Tiny, who's your main source of damage at the moment. They get to snag out the Tormentor as well as it spawns. So they get the free shard for the CM, and their TPs are spotted. They can't even get the counterplay here.
Man, getting the first Tormentor stolen feels so rough. And Nightfall, I mean, Mjolnir completed, going into the Basher as eventually the Abyssal Blade. This is just... It's going to end up just being so much lockdown. Save just got glimpsed all the way across the map. It's
why?
Static Storms does not want to die.
He had
really
to.
wants this Wisdom Rune.
Oh, yeah, he had to. And he can't go for any Tormentor play, though, so, you know, he just backs off. You wouldn't be able to do that solo. Unfortunately, you're no techies here. Why? But they snag something back at the least. You know, they get that much needed EXP for Y. He wants this level 2 Static Storm. He's still rushing at Ags here on the Disruptor, understanding how important that spell is, but you lose out in utility as they chase for more.
Yeah, GPK gets a glimpse of Tiny in these trees, and there's going to be the Rupture. More than enough damage to find that one, and just outside the Roach Pit, they're going to have no problem doing this if they want. I mean, they've got Crimson Guard done, the Mjolnir, of course, plus that Orb of Destruction. It's a lot of resources. They've got this.
They've got the output. There's no counterplay that can come out here from the side of PSG.LGD. If they didn't lose Nothing Say, maybe, but, you know, if they didn't lose Nothing Say, this rush probably wouldn't happen anyway. when this Watcher is going the way of BetBoom, you've got, again, pretty good map control to play with. You've got the secondary life ready for GPK, so your Storm. I mean, you couldn't even kill him the one time. 2 times is a big stretch to kind of imagine here at this point as well. For LGD, their hope is still all riding on Shiro. He's got the heart in the Naga. So it's starting to come together into the Diffusal Blade next for the damage. And he does have a good lead, a solid 3k over Nightfall, as he is number 1 right now on Shiro. Let's see if this smoke amounts to much.
They can try. I mean, GPK would be a good way to start this. They get the Avalanche, the Taunts, the Arrow, the Force Step, try to but she gets dropped right into the Static Storm. And Toronto-Tokyo doing so much work here on this freezing field, so you get the Aegis. The question is if GPK wants revenge here. They're going to look for why it doesn't find him. And the rest of the heroes looks like they're out. Planet hiding in the trees here. Toronto-Tokyo might scout him. It doesn't look like it. He moves back away. Okay, so you burn the first Aegis. That's actually not bad, but you get this pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, that's important. Because, again, it's been a little bit of a struggle to deal with GPK. If he manages to get a better Aegis use, I don't know if you can handle that second life. Like, it takes them the use of their Static Storm. Definitely not there when a respawn comes out. They do ping out Planet.
They know he's there. You can just deny the other Watcher. I'm surprised that Nightfall didn't just go rupture him up. But I guess at the moment he's busy farming. They're going to wait for GPK. He's coming in from the backside. And there's your Vortex into freebie. I'm curious if they're going to actually go for the second Tormentor anytime soon. They have a lot of really good shards.
Yeah. CM shards is already there from the first one. Enchantress shard is pretty good. Underlord shard is also not too bad. Those are probably the 2 that you're going to be juggling around here for the side of BetBoom. Just Ench and Underlord. You wouldn't mind either one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you'd prefer, because it doesn't feel like you'll use Little Friends. Yeah, Underlord feels a little bit better, but you know what? 2 creeps is pretty nice.
Yeah, 2 creeps.
Wouldn't mind it either way.
I can't believe they just added that, like, as the shard. They're like, yeah, you can also get 2 creeps, whatever. Underlord, caught out here from the Static Storm, pops the pipe, pops the Vanguard.
So durable.
Trying to keep himself alive. He's just so tanky. He's still at half HP. Yes, he's lost his mana, but he's just gonna walk away. Meanwhile, Zeal dies to the Enchantress. The Song of the Siren gets popped. What do you do when this giant slug refuses to die?
You run. I mean, the supports do all the damage in the backline there, clearing out that Primal Beast. The Underlord is not the target you want to jump first. He's too durable. You don't have the damage.
Oh, you're right, John. You're right.
Oh. Almost clipping, I can say there. I mean, for the side of PSG.LGD, again, it's down to this timing. Like, they hit this blink timing, and I can say he doesn't get the best reveal. The rotations don't really pan out, and once the Underlord has his durability items up, your Naga doesn't do much damage yet. I mean, Diffusal, it's nice and all, but it's not enough, really. It takes a long time for the Naga damage to really start to pump through, and even then, once the mana burn's gone, it also doesn't feel amazing at that point forward.
The Resolution item build is just on point. Picks up that casual plate mail right away, and he's going to build this into the Shivas, of course, but the fact that this bonus armor is just doing so much work for this hero, and dealing with like the Riptide and stuff like that, and the rest of it's magic damage. He's got a pipe. Not bad.
Yeah. A little bit of a rupture out. They do manage to bail out Planet. You're not going to be able to find that, but you're lining up on BetBoom. You've got all the map pressure. You've got really good forward wards as well to watch near the high ground. GPK? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just doesn't care. The BKB plus the GD rune gets the Static Storm out of it as well. I mean, those are some big cooldowns from the Storm, right? No BKB for 90 seconds, but I think he just, I kind of is like one of those moments where Storm's like, I'm tired. I haven't done anything in a while. I'm going to go kill some heroes.
Yeah, it's fair enough. And the Disruptor is a big aspect of this counter control coming out from LGD, so clearing him out actually frees up your Storm. He's not as scared.
They're going to find Zeal as well here. Storm Spirit makes quick work of that, and Rezo will take the team to the other side of the map here, as they've got a creep wave at the tier 3 tower already.
Yeah. Gets burned down fairly quick, but they've got the output to still poke and prod onto the high ground.
He has a casual Hyperstone on this Enchantress.
I like what Save's been doing. Like, he went early on, he just had the Gloves of Haste in lane with the brown boots, like not even going for the stats, just going all in on his right click, and it just pays off massively. This guy's pretty much a secondary core. He's tied in with the Netford of Nothing to Say and Zeal.
Yep.
That's how rough this game is for LGD.
Dude, this Enchantress could just solo the Tormentor. That's why I'm like, they don't really need this like heavy commit. It's just Save has to go down there and kill it by himself. So
yeah, and he's got the output. Just needs that little Hurricane Pike play, but I guess it's not a high priority. They're letting the Knowledge Room cook up as well. You've got control of the map. You know LGD's not going to be able to sneak out and grab it. Not too much pressure.
It looks like GPK just doesn't stop the glimpse to try and save him, but Planet will fall first anyway. So what's the next objective here for BetBoom? Like, what are we waiting for? Is it just going to be the next Roshan?
More than likely. What do you pick off on Shiro?
Nightfall just takes both bounty runes in front of his GPK with an empty bottle. Looking for Shiro. They will see him. They know he's around here somewhere. He gets the BKB off, though, on GPK. All he has to do is hold that Vortex, prevent the TP, and, well, they've got an Underlord coming in as well. He's like, you thought, baby. You have no chance to escape now. Resolution. Once again, making this Fiend's Gate look very good. They just all go
I
mid.
love an active Underlord. There's no Naga, there's no Song to worry about into the high ground push. There's still the Disruptor and a Static Storm, but it's still a level 1 Static Storm. The Wisdom Rune at least gives level 12. Good God, it's just rough when you're behind as a support here, but level 2 Static Storm, only 700 gold away from Yags, but you're not getting any farm. So the pacing's just, it feels really awful for Y, who understands how important his spell is, but they've not been able to use it in the way they'd want to. Full Abyssal up and running now on Nightfall as well. And they've just got control of the map. Next Roshan in half a minute, we'll see that timer. I'll go hunting a little bit.
Nagasaki's courier just lived with 3 HP and it has almost an entire butterfly on it. Oh, alright. Well, we are going to see Storm Spirit get active again here onto Disruptor. Doesn't have the BKB though, so does not actually find the kill. Gets him very low still. He's got a sight.
Some pressure out.
Out soon. Oh my god. Rupture damage. Dude, it just feels like there's nowhere on the map that PSG.LGD can be. Like, BetBoom, every time they see a hero, it's so easy for them to just engage, right? You've got Underlord who can get across the map. You have Storm Spirit, of course, who is just so mobile. And then this Bloodseeker, who just zooms.
Yeah, they've got the solutions for everything. And it's a fast Ferocious wall. So GPK scouts it out. They could, yeah, they'll try to clear out the solo Tormentor. Come on.
Oh,
there you go.
Just perfect. And there it is. Underlord gets his shard, the one that we were talking about earlier.
Feels pretty good. Again, they can just get started on to Roshan. Nothing to be scared of here from the side of LGD. LGD 20k behind. And all in on the Naga with a full butterfly up. So, I don't know if that's enough. It doesn't feel like it is. Like, the evasion is big in kind of surviving through. You also have Yags coming out from Y. So perhaps this is where things have to line up for LGD on the high ground defense. They've got to be able to draw in BetBoom, get a good use out of that Static Storm, maximize this farm they've gotten the Naga somehow. Like, if you manage to pin down GPK or pin down Nightfall, that's where things line up. But you cannot jump Resolution first. Just ignore the Underlord as much as you can, if you can.
And they might be able to. He's on the other side of the map. They do, of course, have this Moonlight Shadow coming through, but Save's got a gem. He's going to find Planet here, just start throwing the emphasis, and Planet just goes down right away. The Rupture there on nothing to say, but you've got an Abyssal, so the BKBs are there. He's trying to get this Song of Desire to stall it out, but they've got the damage, and on the backside, the TP cancel. It's going to be Shiro stuck here as GPK offers the assist. 3 dead. no buybacks for the side of PSG.LGD, and honestly, BetBoom seem unstoppable at this point. And there it is. The GG comes out. No delay. We're just going to go right into game 2.
Yeah, it's understandable from LGD. BetBoom play a very, very good early to mid game. They hit this tempo well. They have a great lane coming out for GPK. He manages that tiny lane fairly well. Again, it's a back and forth lane. I don't expect the tiny to full